Everyone wants to learn something new, be it a language, coding, science. There's a spark and then we just go down a rabbit hole. In the past, for me, that looked like having tabs everywhere, saved links piling up, half-finished notes, and I was always busy, but it didn't seem like I was progressing. And what I've noticed, it's not the beginners that get stuck. It's the people who we all consider are smart, motivated, and overall capable. But for them, the frustration hits harder. The assumption that always comes with it is that they are broken and not their strategy. And what I've noticed, it's not a you problem. These are predictable learning mistakes. And in this video, I want to talk about the 12 mistakes smart people do when self-learning. Topic, not outcome. When people try to learn something new, they usually pick a topic. I want to learn Spanish. I want to learn Python. I want to understand the scientific principle. But topics don't have a finish line. And when you don't have a finish line, your brain drifts and meanders. What it really needs is an outcome. That is a finish line. It could be having a 5-minute conversation, or building a small useful thing with this program, or just explain one key idea. Inspiration as a strategy. When we learn something new, day one usually feels quite easy. We're all motivated, we're inspired because we have read something or seen something and we want to do this ourselves. But day 10 or day 20, this is where things get hard. That's where confusion creeps in, where boredom shows up. The things you do just feel wrong. And at that point, quite often, we don't even know anymore what to Google. While this kind of inspiration can be good to get you started, it is a really bad motivator long term. And most of us don't take the time to write down the one honest reason why we actually want to do this. Collecting feels like learning. In the past, when I wanted to learn something new, I always started by collecting a ton of material. The best guides were saved, the ultimate tutorial was bookmarked, and my personal library looked very impressive. However, my skills just stayed unchanged. So collecting needs a cap, and that's usually just making something imperfect, the universe before starting. We're trained to feel like we shouldn't even start before we completely understand the topic. This completeness just feels responsible. But what if that feeling of being ready never arrives? We keep telling ourselves that once I know enough words, then I will start speaking. Once I understand the fundamentals of this thing, I will get started. Or let me first read a little bit more before I start writing. But what actually happens is starting creates the readiness. Skipping the map. As we're collecting these random resources, everything looks essential, everything feels urgent. And as people tell us, if everything is urgent, nothing is actionable. We need a rough mental map so we can actually put the pieces together and create connections. In a sense, make sure you're in the right neighborhood before you start learning the street names. Familiarity is not skill. As we consume more and more knowledge, we start recognizing terms and might even start to nod along. It feels like we just get it. But when it comes to making a decision for ourselves, all that knowledge just vanishes. In a language, we might be able to understand a sentence, but we just can't respond. We might be able to follow a tutorial, but we can't start a project ourselves. Familiarity is a warm-up. It's not competence. Stuck in input. We keep reading and watching and reading some more because it feels safe. But what's really important is the output. The thing that feels risky because we could embarrass ourselves. Because we might not know as much as we think we do. It's the output, however, that makes learning stick. One simple minute of explaining something aloud or rewriting something from memory, it's important to take the knowledge that we've gained, build something with it until it breaks, and then we fix it. Goals that are too large. Quite often when we start learning, we pick goals that are simply way too big. Immediately we want to become fluent in Spanish, an expert programmer, a master of machine learning. But these are identity goals, and identity goals never end. And the problem with goals that never end is that permanent guilt creeps in. Instead, we need to break it down into smaller chunks. For example, in 4 weeks, you want to be able to hold a basic conversation. In 2 weeks, you want to automate something that's been annoying for a year. Or in 6 weeks, you want to be able to run a method that you've been studying. Mood over schedule. We often just learn when we feel inspired. And anything else that comes along just takes over. Then we finish that, we feel guilty, we binge, and then we crash. A tiny schedule always beats a perfect plan. Simple 2 sessions a week makes it stop feeling like an emergency and makes it start feeling like progress. Learning in isolation. Learning by yourself can be very powerful, but solo learning is also very fragile because drifts happen silently and accountability just changes everything. If you're learning a language, meet with someone once a week for a coffee to have a simple conversation, or send someone your output. You don't need to send it to the entire world. One person is enough. Too many systems. I'm definitely guilty of that one. Whenever there's a new tool or a new framework, I like to try it out. But that means tools and frameworks just keep on multiplying. My notes are then split across devices, and while it looks organized locally, I'm still stuck because my learning fails to accumulate. Realistically, if you pick one system and stick with it, your learning is probably gonna explode because you have one home base to work on. Expect clean learning. Whenever we learn something new, we expect it to be smooth sailing. We learn something, we apply it, it works, great. And confusion just feels like a failure. The struggle just feels personal. But it is actually a sign that you're at the edge of your knowledge. And that is a sign of growth. When you're awkward speaking, that's normal. When your code is broken, that's normal. The most important thing, no matter how messy things get, is that you keep showing up. And there's a pattern under all of these mistakes. Our learning stays vague. So do our goals, our plans, and our proofs of what we've learned. And then chaos just becomes the default. But it doesn't need to stay this way. When we learn something, we can pick one small thing. We define a concrete outcome. We set a real time frame, choose a small routine, and prove that actually counts. And that proof is what's important. It can be as simple as a short voice note, a tiny script, or one paragraph explanation. Most importantly is that you have visible progress. But we all pick proofs that are just way too big, instead of picking something so small that it's almost silly. Something that's small enough to start, small enough to repeat, and small enough to finish. Momentum always beats intensity, and sustainability wins out in the long run. And this is how you go from drowning to building. Outcome gives you shape, routine gives rhythm, proof shows progress, and the chaos shrinks over time. You build everything piece by piece.